are watching Darasa Online.
Student, welcome to Darasa Online. My name is Mr. Laurent Ndonje. I'm a biology teacher. And today, I'm going to present to you a topic of ecology. Our subject is biology. And our topic is ecology. Student, this is a Form 6 topic, and it will appear in paper 2. Today, I will discuss with you subtopic called concept of ecology. Concept of ecology. Before we go to guiding question, let us know what is ecology. In Form 2, you are taught a topic called balance of nature. Therefore, here we will extend a little bit. Ecology. My student, in ecology, we see the organism and the environment. Therefore, here, the word ecology has two words. One is oikos. Oikos means home, the dwelling place, habitat, etc. And also a word logos, which means start off. Therefore, in ecology, we start off home, we start off habitat, we start off dwelling places. What is ecology? Ecology is a study of interrelationship between organisms among themselves and with their environment. With their environment. My student, environment depends on organism. Also, organisms depends on environment. In ecology, we will concentrate on two branches. One is out ecology and the other of scene ecology. Hope you can pass through scene ecology and out ecology. Now, my student, is there any importance of studying ecology? Importance of studying ecology. Why ecology is taught at your level? What are the importance of studying ecology? This topic will give you awareness on how to manage environment. Therefore, ecology helps to provide awareness on the environmental conservation, on the issues of conserving environment. My student, in this topic, you will see the importance of planting trees, for example. You will see the importance of using our natural resources and to conserve environment as well. Students, this topic is applied also in other field. The topic of ecology is applied in the other field. Other fields, such as fishing, agriculture, forestry, etc. My student, This topic also will provide awareness on how to use natural resources, sustainable use of natural resources, providing knowledge on the sustainable use of natural resources. And also how to manage natural resources. My student, through the study of ecology, we will get knowledge on how to manage waste. Therefore, provides knowledge on waste management. Knowledge on waste management. Therefore, you can be asked, what are the importances of studying ecology? For example, give 4 points. You can explain like here. We can see now question number 1. Give importance of studying ecology. Why is it important to study ecology? Give 4 points. Why is it important to study ecology? Give 4 points. Now, student, you can be also asked here, what will happen when the topic of ecology is removed in our curriculum? We will fail to know all this. My student, before we go to the concept of ecosystem, it is also good we know the level of organization which we consider. Level of organization is considered in the topic of ecology. The topic of ecology will know organisms, species. Will know population. Will know community. Will know ecosystem, biome, biosphere, and so on. My student, species is a group of organisms capable of interbreeding to produce a fertile offspring. Therefore, this one is a group of organisms capable of interbreeding to produce a fertile offsprings. Then my student, population is a group of organisms of the same species occupying a defined area. For example, elephant form a population. Maybe population of lion, population of human being, all the organism of the same species. Now after there, let us see community. Community, a group of organisms of different species occupying a defined area while interacting. Therefore here we include different population, group of organisms of different species occupying a defined area and interacting with each other, That is a community. Now from community, we can have now a term ecosystem. Therefore, let us see the concept of ecosystem. Concept of ecosystem. My student, what is an ecosystem? We always have terrestrial ecosystem. We can have a terrestrial ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, what is an ecosystem? An ecosystem, by defining, this is a self-sustaining and self-regulating biological unit consisting of biotic and abiotic components. Is a self-sustaining and a self-regulating biological unit consisting of biotic and abiotic components. Which interact to ensure the constant flow of energy. Flow of energy and nutrient circulation. Biotic and abiotic always interact to ensure energy flow and nutrient circulation. My student, plants which is biotic, for example, this is biotic, and the soil which is abiotic. Soil and the plant always interact to ensure nutrient circulation and energy flow. A plant absorbs water from the soil. A plant takes nutrient of nitrogen, phosphorus from the soil. A plant absorbs water from the soil. Therefore, water from the soil is absorbed by a plant to ensure nutrient circulation. A plant will be eaten by animals. Therefore, they are always in interaction. My student, let us see the structure of ecosystem. Structure of an ecosystem. An ecosystem has two components. One of the components is called biotic component. Biotic components. And the other component of ecosystem is called abiotic components. Abiotic components. What is biotic components? My student, biotic components include the living organism in the ecosystem. living organisms. Example of biotic component are plants, animals, fungi, and bacteria. These are biotic component of an ecosystem. Plant and animals interact. Fungi and plant interact. Fungi and animals interact also. Now, biotic components are divided into the following categories of biotic components. One, producers. Producers are autotrophs. That means producers can make their own food. Such as plants, algae, photosynthetic bacteria, and chemosynthetic bacteria. Autotrophs such as plants, algae, photosynthetic bacteria, and chemosynthetic bacteria, which can manufacture their own food from simple inorganic compounds such as carbon dioxide and water in the presence of light, light energy or chemical energy. These are called producers. They are capable of manufacturing their own food by using carbon dioxide, water in the presence of light from the sun or energy from chemicals. My student, producers occupy the first trophic level. And all energy in consumers is obtained from producers. Now, importances of producers. You can ask yourself, my student, are plants important? One, producers, they produce food. Produce food used by other organisms, by the other organisms. Such as animals, human being depends on producers. My student, producers balance the amount of oxygen and the carbon dioxide. Amount of oxygen and the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Balances the amount of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the atmosphere. Therefore, producers reduces the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere because during photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is reduced. By reducing the amount of carbon dioxide, they reduce the rate of global warming. They reduce the rate of global warming. My student, producers help also to convert sunlight, light energy into chemical energy. That are some of the importance of producers. Hope you at home you can add more importances of producers. Now student, the second biotic component is consumers. Consumers. Consumers, these are animals that feed on producers, therefore are heterotroph. They cannot manufacture their own food. Consumers eat already manufactured food substance. Take an example, human being, we are consumers. Take an example, fungi are consumers, lion are consumers. These are biotic components which depend on other organisms to feed on. My student, we have consumers here. Consumers, we have primary consumers. We have secondary consumers. We have tertiary consumers. We have quaternary consumers. Let us see one after another. Primary consumers. These are organisms which feed directly on producers. Therefore, they feed directly on producers. Therefore, they are herbivore. They are herbivore. Take an example, cow, goat, zebra, they consume direct. Antelope, these are primary consumers. They occupy now the second trophic level. Occupy the second trophic level in the ecosystem. My student, we have secondary consumers. These are organisms which feeds directly on primary consumers. For example, hyena. Hyena feeds on goat, feeds on cow. They feed directly on primary consumers. They occupy the third trophic level. Third trophic level in the ecosystem. My student, we have also tertiary consumers. This feed direct on secondary consumers, also feeds on the primary consumers. Feed directly on secondary consumers. May also feed on primary consumers. Omnivore are placed here. They occupy now the fourth trophic level. Occupy the fourth trophic level. This one occupy the fourth trophic level. Lastly, we have quaternary consumers, which may feed on tertiary consumers. Quaternary consumers. This may feed on tertiary consumers, secondary consumers, primary consumers, and so on. Example, an eagle, vulture, hawk may feed on tertiary consumers. My student, what are the importances of consumers? Consumers respire out carbon dioxide, which is used by producers during photosynthesis. They respire out carbon dioxide required by plant during photosynthesis. Required by plants during photosynthesis. My student, the last biotic component of an ecosystem are decomposers and also detritivore. These are organisms which feed on dead organic matter. This one feed on dead organic matter. By decomposing them, they break the dead organic matter. Decomposers now break down the dead organic matter. Take an example, mushroom. In the ecosystem is a saprophyte, feed on dead organic matter. Mushroom. What are the importances of decomposers, my students? Of decomposers. My student, decomposers are very important in the ecosystem as follows. One, decomposers set nutrient free. They set nutrients free from the dead organism. Nutrients are set free by decomposers, which they can be absorbed by producers. Therefore, by setting nutrient free, they ensure energy flow and nutrient circulation. By setting nutrient free, they ensure nutrient circulation in the ecosystem. Nutrient circulation in the ecosystem is ensured by decomposers. My student, decomposers, when they break a dead organism, they add humus to the soil. Therefore, they add humus in the soil. They make the soil fertile by adding humus. This is number 2. My student, by breaking the dead organic matter, decomposers act as environmental biocleaner. They are environment biocleaners. By breaking the dead organic matter, they act as environmental biocleaners. Hope we are together, my student. Now, after knowing biotic components, let us see abiotic components. Abiotic components. My student, abiotic components include non-living organisms in the ecosystem. Including non-living organisms in the ecosystem. My student, non-living organisms are examples: soil, temperature, rainfall, another biotic component here in the ecosystem, carbon dioxide, sunlight. These are biotic component of the ecosystem. You can add more examples, my students. Question number 2. The question is, an ecosystem consists of biotic and abiotic components. Using examples, differentiate the two components. Biotic component, as well I've said, include living organisms. Abiotic include non-living organisms. Examples of biotic are animals, plants, fungi, and bacteria. Examples of abiotic are soil, temperature, carbon dioxide, water, and so on. Biotic components are producers, maybe consumers, maybe decomposers. Therefore, you can now differentiate, my student, by using comparison table you at home. My student, let us see now question number 3. An organism in the ecosystem interact in different ways. Using 3 points, explain ways in which biotic components of an ecosystem interact. Our question is on biotic components. How biotic components interact. From what I've said, biotic components are producers, consumers, and decomposers. How do they interact? Therefore, interaction among biotic components of an ecosystem. Among biotic components of the ecosystem. There are 4 kinds of interaction among biotic components of the ecosystem, my student. 1 is symbiosis. 2 is predation. 3 is competition. And lastly is grazing. Let us start with symbiosis. Symbiosis, 2 or more organisms of different species live together and interact. Therefore, here 2 or more organisms of different species living together and interact. For example, you can find a human being has a tapeworm inside. Therefore, tapeworm and a human being are 2 organisms of different species. For example, a tick and a cow are 2 organisms of different species. Now, our topic is ecology. Symbiosis is divided further into the following. 1 is mutualism. Mutualism, organisms of different species interact and both benefit from the interaction. 2 organisms of different species living together interact and both organisms benefit. Both organisms benefit from the interaction. Both organisms benefit from the interaction. My student, take an example, pollinators and flowers. Pollinators and flowers. Insect which pollinate flowers. They get nectar from flowers, but the flowers gain by receiving pollen grain. My student, take an example, lichen. Lichen is association between fungi and algae. Fungi provide protection to algae, but algae provide food to fungi. That is all about mutualism. My student, also parasitism. Here is the interaction between organism called parasite and another organism called host. But here only a parasite benefits from the interaction, but the host is harmed from the interaction. Therefore, 2 organisms of different species interact, but only 1 organism, which is called the parasite, benefit. The other organism called the host is harmed. My student, take an example, a cow and ticks.
You are watching Darasa Online.
A tick benefits from the cow by sucking the blood, while a cow is harmed. Take an example, tapeworm and human being. A tapeworm obtains food from a human being, but human being is harmed. A tapeworm is a parasite, human being is a host. Lastly, my student, we can have commensalism. Commensalism. Here, organisms of different species interact. One organism benefits while the other organism is neither harmed nor benefit. Therefore, commensalism example here, we can take a barnacle, for example, living on wellies. A barnacle can be transported from one area to another by wellies, but wellies cannot benefit or get harmed from barnacle. Hope we are together, my students. That is the first interaction among biotic components of an ecosystem. The second kind of interaction, my students, the second kind of interaction, my student, is called predation. This is a biological interaction between a predator and a prey. A predator and the hunted animal, a weak animal, prey. My student, a lion is a predator in the ecosystem, while a zebra is a prey in the ecosystem. Therefore, how lion and the zebra interact? A lion will interact by eating zebra. That is the second interaction. You can give more examples of predator, my students.
You are watching Darasa Online.
When the number of predators lies in the ecosystem, the number of preys lowers. Number of prey in the ecosystem lowers. Why? Because the predators will be consuming more the prey. Take an example, my students. We have time here, and we have the population density here. Population density means the number of organisms per unit area. When the number of prey lies, I'll put it like this. Let's say this is a predator. My student, when the number of predator lies, the number of prey is lowered. But when the number of predator is lowered, the number of prey increase. When the number of predator is high, the number of prey decrease. When the number of prey is low, the number of predator increase. Therefore, it is like a wave. Let's say this is a prey. When a predator lies, prey lowered. When the predator is low, the number of prey is high. Therefore, these are predators, these are prey. Therefore, when the predators increases in number, the number of preys decreases. That is the interaction between the prey and the predator. My students, another interaction is called the competition. Competition is a struggle between organisms of different or the same species for the limited natural resources. The struggle between organisms of the same or different species for the limited natural resources. Limited natural resources are such as food, shelter, a mate, etc. Organisms in the ecosystem keep on struggling for the limited natural resources. From the definition here, student, organism of the same or different species. From the definition, we get two types of competition. One here, student, is called intraspecific competition. And the second is called interspecific competition. My student, intraspecific competition is a struggle between organisms of the same species for the limited natural resources. Intraspecific competition is a struggle among organisms of the same species for the limited environmental resources. Struggle among organisms of the same species for the limited natural resources. My student, take an example, organism like goats of the same species struggle for the same shrub. Struggle for the same shrubs. You find only goats are struggling for the same shrub. That is intraspecific competition. Another is interspecific competition, where now here is a struggle between organisms of different species for the limited environmental resources. Organisms now here struggle for the limited environmental resources. Take an example. Zebra and the goats are competing for the same shrubs. Zebra and the goats compete for the same shrubs. Compete for the same shrub. That is interspecific competition. You see now how organisms interact in the ecosystem. My student, The last kind of interaction is called grazing. In grazing, a cow interact here with the grasses, let's say, by feeding on grasses. Therefore, how organisms interact with the producers, that is grazing, to ensure nutrient circulation. Therefore, some organisms feed directly on grasses, on producers, especially herbivore. Therefore, here we talk about the interaction between herbivore and the primary producers. Primary producers. Hope we are together, my students. Now we can switch on question number 4, which you can do it. Why are the following biotic components important in the ecosystem? A. Producers. B. Consumers. C. Decomposers. If I fold properly my presentation here, you know the importance of producers. 1 is to balance the amount of oxygen and the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Therefore, they reduce the amount of carbon dioxide, hence decelerate the rate of global warming. Number 2, they produce food required by other organisms. Number 3, they help in converting light energy to chemical energy. If we go to part B, the importance of consumers in the ecosystem. Consumers gives out carbon dioxide required by producers for photosynthesis. Consumers ensures nutrient circulation and energy flow. Examples of consumers, you know, example lion. Lion is important in the ecosystem. Then part C, decomposers ensures nutrient circulation and energy flow in the ecosystem. Decomposers, they break down dead organic matter. Therefore, they set the nutrient free. For example, nitrogen, phosphorus are set free in dead organism, which can be consumed by producers. Then producers can be consumed by consumers. Number 2, decomposers add humus in the soil. Therefore, they make the soil fertile by adding humus. Number 3, decomposers are environmental biocleaners. By breaking down the dead organic matter, they clean the environment. Question number 5 is, briefly explain the effect of removing each of the following biotic components from the ecosystem. A. Producers. B. Decomposers. When producers such as plants are removed in the ecosystem, the following will happen. 1. The rate of global warming will increase. Why? Because producers are carbon sink. They take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Therefore, it will accelerate the rate of global warming once producers are removed. 2. Nutrient circulation and energy flow in the ecosystem will not occur because producers are consumed by the consumers. Producers are fed by consumers. Therefore, once I remove the consumers, will miss food to eat. Therefore, energy flow and the nutrient circulation will not occur. And also, sunlight energy will not be converted to chemical energy because they are producers which traps sunlight and convert them to chemical energy. My student, when the decomposers are removed from the ecosystem, the following may happen. 1. Nutrient circulation and energy flow will not occur because the plants will miss food to get. Decomposers, they set free nutrient. Therefore, the nutrient won't be set free when decomposers are removed from the ecosystem. And also, addition of humus to the soil will not occur. Therefore, the soil will be infertile. And also, decomposers, since they act as the environmental biocleaner, therefore the environment will fail to be cleaned by decomposers. Hope you have understood, you have enjoyed the lesson. Meet you in the next lesson. Never plan to miss. Thank you for listening.